Wanna talk? So let's talk. Here. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk, you wanna talk.
Good evening and welcome, my friends. It's time for Talk to Solomon. That's me, Stan Solomon. I'm the host.
I'm Chief Steve, the in-studio co-host.
Former Police Chief Steve Davis, lawman extraordinaire, and our guest of honor, the one and only and never lonely, former Ambassador Dr. Alan Keyes. Alan, how are you this evening?
I'm doing okay, Stan. How are you?
Well, I'm as good as you can be, knowing that America has been sucker punched, that America has been insulted, demeaned, wounded, grievously hurt, and we have a president that had to take a full 24 hours before he could bring himself to call it terrorism.
Well, Stan, unhappily, I think this is what we have to expect from Barack Obama, knowing that he is the first anti-American to occupy the White House. And I remember this every time we get into a situation like this. There are so many reasons why one cringes at the thought that the fate of this nation, when faced with these inimical attacks, is in the hands of Obama and the Obama faction, people who have represented throughout their careers and lives a decidedly anti-American bent. And from the time he started in office, he was seeking ways to make it clear that we are somehow to blame when nasty bad people decide that they're going to disrupt our lives, destroy the lives of our young children and other innocents in the name of their hatred. And they're so quick to pretend that because people want to save the lives of innocent babies in the womb, because they want to defend the family that is the bedrock of society and the perpetuation of the human species, that's all about hate. But when you have folks who are killing people at public events and in other horrid ways with no care whether they are women, young children, then the word hatred is not to be used. Then an identification of the real culprits is not to be attempted. And I think that that's been the pattern. And sadly, I think it must leave a lot of Americans wondering when the words that are supposed to somehow unite and console us are coming from this kind of a source. I think they fall without effect. Because it's hard to believe that somebody who has championed the killing of babies even outside the womb, the taking of that innocent life, is crying anything but crocodile tears when he tries to console the nation for the terrible loss of life.
By the way, I want you to know I've been officially contacted by the Crocodiles Union, who do not want their tears to be associated with Barack and Michelle Obama. Now, you talk about killing babies outside the womb. That's going to segue nicely to not Kermit the Frog, but Kermit the Killer. Kermit Gosnell, a quote-unquote doctor who made millions of dollars slaughtering babies in the most vile, disrespectful, godless, spiritless way. And we have the media in this country being outed for the absolute phonies that they are, that they won't even talk about. Well, finally now they're starting to barely talk about this trial that showed that this man took pleasure in killing, by the way, overwhelmingly black, quote-unquote, African-American, quote-unquote, children. Seeing a crying, squirming child and saying, watch this, ha, 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 whammo.
Well, sadly, Stan, I think if folks have been reading and hearing about the descriptions that have been given in that courtroom, they can see the kind of culture of not just death, but of evil, gleeful infliction of death on those who represent our posterity and the hopes for our future. When a nation permits this kind of slaughter of its innocent future, I think we have to understand that we have crossed the line into a kind of darkness that we can only return from when we have finally and completely repudiated this culture of death. And here again, I have to say, there's an ongoing controversy, which this has kind of pointed to again, about Barack Obama, about the fact that when he was a state senator in Illinois, he actually voted for a bill that permitted allowing babies after they were born, just like these children that we've been hearing about, where they've been snapping their necks and cutting their spinal cord after they were born. And this was happening in Illinois' hospital. And just as at the federal level later, a bill was proposed, the Born Alive Infant Protection Act. And Obama studiously and steadfastly, over the course of several sessions, opposed the passage of this bill on the grounds that it would somehow impair abortion rights. But also, now listen to this, in a speech he gave back in 2002, I think it was April the 4th, 2002, to a session of, he actually said that the concern was that you should leave this to the doctor who was performing the abortion. And we see in the person of a person like this Kermit Gosnell, you see what we're talking about in terms of leaving a decision like that up to the very doctor who is making money hand over fist through the exploitation of women and the killing of their innocent children. And you're supposed to leave it to them to decide whether that baby's life is to be respected when it is born alive after their attempt to slaughter and murder the child has failed. That's the logic of Barack Obama. And it's also, when we look at Gosnell, this is the fruit of the whole pro-abortion, so-called pro-choice movement. This slaughterhouse. And however they try to dress it up and whatever verbiage they use, it involves the killing of our posterity, the taking of that human life which has been sanctioned and sent forth by the word of God, and which, according to our fundamental principles as a people, is entitled to an unalienable right to life, since all of us come from the hand of God, equally entitled to respect in those basic rights. And I think this whole trial has really put these people on the spot, Stan. And it's one of the reasons their so-called mainstream media, their propaganda machines, didn't want to focus on it, because it forces people to look at the terrible, deadly, ugly fruit of this whole so-called abortion rights, truly pro-murder and infanticide culture that we've allowed to be spawned by that Supreme Court decision, which completely abandoned the fundamental truths on which this country was founded.
Well, Dr. Mengele has now freckles and a black face. Chief?
Well, this case, again, I want to encourage all of us to use the right language when we talk about this. It's not an abortion, it's a murder. And in this case, these are little tiny babies that are alive. They're little tiny American babies that are alive, and they're not just killed, they're murdered, and they're viciously murdered, and many of them scream and cry and carry on in their very brief moments of life before it's taken away by this murderous bastard. But also, I believe that Barack Obama is a co-conspirator in this crime. He has encouraged this. He has spoken from the White House about this. He voted on this as a state senator. I believe he's just as culpable as this man with the scalpel in this crime. In the real world, people that conspire to commit crimes are guilty of those crimes. Once they go to trial, conspiracy is given the same sentence as the perpetrators of those crimes. So Barack Obama in the White House, our president, and Dr. Keyes has eloquently said tonight that he is an anti-American, which he is promoting the vicious, sadistic murder of helpless little American babies, and it's a crime.
Now let's take one more point here, and then I'm going to hand it back to Dr. Keyes. Do you think, folks, I know some of you don't like my positions and maybe the positions of others on this show, and I respect your right to have whatever opinion you choose to have. My son keeps bringing me all these letters and things that you're writing talking about me, but tell me this. Do you think that the Muslim extremists don't use the fact that we kill millions of babies as a reason for people to hate America? You know, Muslims, they have their thought processes like everyone else. The Muslim faith is a pro-life faith. They don't kill their babies. They may kill you as soon as you cross them. But my point is, don't you think we're giving them, between promoting homosexuality and killing babies, don't you think we're giving them the ammunition to recruit people to come kill our people? Just a thought. Dr. Keyes.
Well, Stan, I sadly think that is true, and I've read things that confirm it, in fact, that come out of places like Nigeria, where people are on the front lines in terms of their profession of a non-Muslim faith, like Christians in Nigeria. And the stories come out that the folks who are inciting people to go into villages and towns and murder people are saying that these folks are identified now with so-called Christians in America and the great Satan and all of this, that engage in the murder of children and in the promotion of the destruction of the God-ordained family. And so I think that is a kind of anecdotal, factual evidence that this is the kind of role it plays in recruitment for the forces of anti-American hatred in the world, and for the forces that will then go and attack people everywhere, based on their supposed association with the corrupt understanding of God's will that is promoted in this whole pro-abortion regime. And it's one of the reasons, Stan, that I find it so both ironic and actually quite sick and insane that when you listened to the coverage yesterday, you heard some of these so-called experts who were immediately trying to pretend that this was somehow an act that you could associate with, quote, conservative right-wingers and fundamentalists and Christians and so forth and so on. Did you hear this?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of madness that these people are now trying to perpetrate. And I wish that folks would not think, Stan, that this is just some kind of an observation we make about an individual here or there. Remember, the things that are being done, first lists that were brought out about people who posed a danger to public order. Remember those? That included homeschoolers and returning veterans and supporters of the Second Amendment. Now you have this being repeated, first in police briefings. We talked about this on the show some time back, that were sent out to people in state and local police forces. Latest report had to do with the indoctrination of military people from lists of so-called threats to order that included Catholicism and evangelical Christianity. They sure paint with a broad brush. And so when they start trying to take these episodes and somehow lay them on the doorstep of innocent people in groups, it's because they're already trying to whet the sharp edge of the abuse of law enforcement in order to come against people who stand against their culture of death and violence. I think it's the greatest tragic irony that we see this kind of propaganda lying occurring in the United States. And that, of course, was spread all over the media. Those lies, those things based on no facts whatsoever except their own bigoted, sick prejudices. And meanwhile, the truth about that episode, the truth about what's going on at the Gosnell trial, they won't talk about that. I really begin to feel, Stan, that with these people given primacy over our communications, our networks, we're dealing with an agitprop that is, in fact, worthy of the old Soviet Union.
And I think learned from the old Soviet Union and have an affinity and loyalty for the mindset and the modus operandi of the old Soviet Union. All right, let me kind of segue here into the illegal, legal, undocumented bill in Congress, whose details have come out, that are being backed by both conservatives, moderates, and liberals, and being opposed by conservatives, moderates, and liberals. So it's not really defined in a specific way. there's a lot to talk about, but I'll just start it and then we'll kind of run around and talk about it here. One, this immigration bill has nothing to do with immigrants and has everything to do with politics. It is simply both parties trying to find a way to get more votes, in my humble opinion. The United States be damned, the people involved be damned. Secondly, I believe it is perhaps the straw that will break the camel's back of right and wrong in this country, if it hasn't already been broken by this abortion disaster, in that rewarding people for doing illegal things is at the very basis of the rule of law. I'll stop there and toss it to Chief.
Well, we're a country of laws. That's how we've operated, and even God gave us laws. That's how He started our civilization, to have us rules that we have to obey. It creates an order in our society. Of course, we have some laws are good, laws are bad. That happens. But in this case, I think you're absolutely right. I believe that with very few exceptions, all of our politicians in Congress, in the Senate and in the House, are after one thing, just to find out a way to get votes to get reelected. They don't care anything about any of us at all, not one way, shape, or form. They don't care about the border, they don't care about immigration, they don't care about anything else, just getting reelected. Even one politician, I believe, is now on a campaign now to use this to propel him into the White House. But this policy written and in effect will have nothing to do with securing the borders or immigration or anything else. It's only, like you said, a political mechanism to allow people in office to retain their office holding standard, or their ability to get reelected.
Alan?
But Chief, you have been listening to Marco Rubio, right? I was reading a statement he made the other day in which he was arguing that the bill that's being proposed, which most of these guys haven't read, by the way. I just want to point that out. It's another one of those cases where they're putting something on the table, nobody really knows what's in it, except a handful of people in this so-called Gang of Eight, right? Anyway, and he's trying to make the case that somehow or another, the folks who are going to be permitted to stay in the country, who have come in here illegally, and who after they go through what he describes as this onerous, expensive process, they are then going to be allowed to normalize their status, right? And the whole time that this is going on, they are going to continue to be in this country and pay taxes. We're supposed to hear pay taxes. We're not supposed to hear work here, right? But that's what's going on. Now, emphasize it for a moment. Focus on that notion that they're staying in the country here. They came in illegally. They're going to stay, and they're going to be working here. And Rubio actually wants us to believe that this process they're setting up is going to make it more difficult and harder for them than if people stay in their own country for 10 years waiting to get into the United States. And I listened to that, and I couldn't help it. One of you may tell me that I'm wrong about this. But Marco Rubio must think that everybody who was listening to him is an idiot or a moron. Well, let's see. The prize in this whole process is to come to America and work, right? That's what they tell us. People are coming because they want to make better lives, get jobs that are better paying. They can't find these prospects in their own country, so they come to America. That's what they all say is going on, and that's why we're supposed to be sympathetic and everything, because they're looking for a better life. So the people who come here illegally, whom we reward by giving them permission to stay while they then get normalized, oh, we'll make you pay a little more money and so forth, and you'll have to go through a process where you wait some time, but you'll be here and you'll be working. And this process is more onerous on them than obeying the law is on people who have to stay in their own country, don't get to come here and work, and when they do pay fees and so forth, they'll be paying it out of what they've been able to put aside from much lower wages, a much lower quality of life and so forth. Am I missing something here, or is that nonsense?
No,
it's nonsense that then leads us to believe that permitting people to break our laws doesn't show deep disrespect for the people who actually obey our laws and respect the process. These folks must think we're all quite stupid and we're going to lap up this drivel while they destroy the sovereign people of the United States.
Well, I believe you're absolutely right. I didn't mention Marco Rubio's name because I was trying to spread the blame a little bit more evenly, but you're absolutely right. Marco Rubio is showing his inexperience, but also when I see what he's done, anybody that would participate in a gang of anything to run our country, first of all, they've lost me totally, and also I believe that's an unconstitutional way to run our country. We have a House and a Senate. No gangs are supposed to run our country. No small group of senators or House members can get together and tell us what we're supposed to do and make those laws. It's just wrong. Marco Rubio, he's laid all of his cards on the table, and I believe he's going to fold with a losing hand.
Let's, by the way, the Gang of Eight is just a name we gave them, and they don't have any authority other than to negotiate. But once it comes out, it goes through the normal process, and there's very little chance that it's going to pass this process. But here's the reality. We did this under Reagan. We gave advantages, whatever you want to call them, to 3 million. We were told that if you do this, we'll do that. Well, we did this, but they didn't do that. Anyone that believes that if this time involving 11 or 12 or 20 or 50, hell, who knows? Who
knows, right?
But whatever group it is, if we believe, again, what is that old saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. America.
Well, look at the border. The alleged illegal aliens are jumping the border at twice the rate.
Right in front of our people.
Mocking the guards, saying Obama's going to let us go and give us goods.
Exactly. Well, I tell you what, I have a deal. All right, this is a gang of one. We'll take the 11, 12, 15, 20 million. They can have Michelle and Barack. Shake?
That would destroy all the illegals instantly.
Unfortunately, Stan, the way these folks have been observing the law when it comes to immigration, they'd let Michelle and Barack Obama slip back into the country.
Well, it would have to be a large hole for Michelle.
With them again, because that was the other part of it that I found. I don't know. It would be amusing if it wasn't so tragic to listen to these guys tell us that this is going to be the toughest enforcement and so forth. And I keep thinking to myself, enforcement is only as good as the folks who carry it out or don't bother. And since they haven't been bothering whenever they feel like we're not looking, why on earth would we trust them? But I've been trying to ask this question about a million things, Stan. The other day I read something where the conservative leaders sent a letter to the Rance Priebus at the RNC saying, if you guys don't straighten up on gay marriage and the other moral issues of concern to conservatives, then you're going to lose the support of the people who are the constituents of our different organizations. And of course, like clockwork, the RNC then passed a piece of paper that had words on it saying, we strongly support the so-called traditional marriage. We strongly support the position of pro-life that's in the platform. Now, here's the problem. It's the same problem as when these people make promises about enforcing our immigration law. We have once, twice, 3 times watched as the Republican leadership, the Republican Party, betrayed conservatives, ignored what was in their platform, stopped conservative candidates, destroyed them, threatened even through Karl Rove's mouth to kill them. And yet these actions are to count for nothing now because the very group that chose Rance Priebus as chairman of the RNC is now telling us that they're deeply committed to the pro-life cause and traditional marriage. Are we all nuts? Whether it's here, whether it's on the border, it seems as if people are willing to act like the abused spouse. And the spouse is saying, I won't hit you again, honey. I'm so sorry. I'll never hit you again. And then hits her again and again and again. And after several years of abuse and constant beatings and constant bruises and broken bones and destroyed promises, they're still hearing the same words and saying, well, I got to stay with him, I guess, because he's so sorry. This is crazy, Stan. We can't afford these leaders anymore. They are incompetent and self-serving, and some of them deeply anti-American, and they're helping Obama now to destroy our country. When are people going to wake up, Stan? This can't be allowed to continue, or we won't have to worry about it anymore.
And
because they will have imposed this totalitarian garbage on us, and we won't have a say.
And that's when they'll wake up. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more. Dr. Alan Keyes, our guest. This is Talk to Solomon. Hey, my name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item, and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule. Do you like being healthy? I do. In fact, this product, which I've been taking for years now, is absolutely the answer. Now, you may not believe it, but I'm actually 21, plus tax, of course. This product has 146 different healthful nutrients in it, and it's liquid, so it's bioavailable. It tastes great, and it's sugar-free. 1 ounce of Sonic Life each day will help you to maintain and enhance your health. It's a kind of a gift, well, that you'll thank your mom for, your husband for, your wife for, your kids for. Whoever you give it to, they're going to say thank you, and you are going to enjoy the benefits of having all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the nutrients your body needs in one very reasonably priced product. Just go to cpnlive.com and everything's right there. You'll be able to read all the ingredients. The price is right there, a flat price delivered to your door anywhere in the United States of America. Sonic Life is a gift, a great gift. Give it to yourself. I do. I like to eat. Do you like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. But power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. You know, they say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids, you have a spouse, you have parents, you have dependents, you have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. You know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. cpnlive.com, check it out. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 Supercolloidal Silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get Super Colloidal Silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back.